Have you ever created some course materials, poured your heart into them, and then felt like you were just talking at your students? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We're going to dive into the H5P Course Presentation tool specifically inside Moodle and show you how to turn that static content into a really dynamic, interactive experience.
I mean, think about it. We all spend so much time making great content, slideshows, PDFs, all of it. But let's be honest, when a student opens it up, does it feel like a monologue? Like a one-way street where you're just broadcasting information out there and hoping some of it sticks.
And this right here, this really shows the difference. Over on the left, you've got that classic information dump, which just leads to passive clicking. But on the right, that's a two-way bridge. That's all about active engagement and getting feedback in the moment. That's the goal, right? And that's what we're going to build today.
So how do we actually build that bridge? Well, the solution we're zeroing in on is H5P Course Presentations. This is the tool that's going to help us flip the script from that passive viewing to some really active learning.
Okay, so what is it? Think of it like a really powerful presentation builder that lives right inside your web browser, specifically right inside your Moodle course. And what that means is there's no special software to download, nothing complicated to install. You build it right where your students are going to use it.
And this is where it gets really, really cool. You're not just adding text and images to a slide. You can actually embed all of these interactive tools directly onto them. I mean, imagine a video that pauses itself to ask a question, or a quick little drag-and-drop activity to check for understanding. The possibilities here are huge.
Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. This sounds awesome, but is it, complicated? Well, the great news is it's actually very straightforward. So let's walk through the blueprint for getting one started in Moodle right now.
So here are the exact clicks you need to know. In your Moodle course, first things first, turn Edit Mode on. Then you're going to click Add an Activity or Resource. A list will pop up, and you're looking for interactive content. That's the one with the H5P logo. And finally, from there, you just select Course Presentation. That's it, you're in.
And once you're inside the editor, the whole thing really boils down to these three simple steps. First, you create and organize your slides, just like you would in any other presentation software. Second, you use that little toolbar to add your content, text, images, and all those cool interactions. And finally, you just arrange it all. Drag it, drop it, resize it. It's a what you see is what you get kind of setup, so it feels really intuitive.
This quote just nails it. We're not just trying to make our slides look cooler, we're actually changing how we teach. This whole thing lets us check for understanding during the lesson, not just in some big quiz way at the end. It's a big shift.
Let me show you what I mean with a super simple example. So on one slide, you present a key fact, like cloudberries are found on the northern hemisphere. Then on the very next slide, bam, you hit them with a quick true or false question about it. It's this simple loop of present, then check that turns a passive viewer into a really active participant.
All right, now let's address the elephant in the room. Because I know that every single educator who sees a new tool like this has the exact same thought bubble pop up over their head.
Yep, that's the one. We all have folders just filled with presentations that we've poured hours and hours into. You don't want to just throw all that work away, and you absolutely don't have to. So, can you just import them into H5P? So the short answer is no. There isn't a magic import button. But, and this is a very, very big but, there is an incredibly practical and effective workaround that lets you use all of that great work you've already done. Here's the game plan. It's 3 steps. First, you take your PowerPoint presentation and you export all of the slides as image files, so PNGs or JPEGs. Then you go into your new H5P presentation and upload those images as the background for each slide. And finally, you just start layering the new interactive H5P elements right on top. See, you're not starting over, you're just upgrading what you already have.
Okay, a really crucial heads up on accessibility here. Any text that's baked into that background image can't be read by a screen reader. So, to make sure your content is accessible for every single learner, you absolutely must add descriptive alt text, or even better, layer new H5P text boxes on top of the image. This is a critical step. Please don't skip it.
So, you've built this amazing interactive masterpiece. Now what? Well, let's talk about the final stage, how this all plugs back into your Moodle course and closes that all-important feedback loop with your students.
Remember how we built this as a Moodle activity from the very beginning? Well, because of that, it's not some separate file that's just floating out in space.
It becomes a smoothly integrated part of your course, living right alongside all the other activities your students are already familiar with.
And this, my friends, is the real payoff. For your students, they get instant feedback on their answers, which is fantastic for learning, and it really boosts their participation. And for you, any of those graded questions you add can automatically send their scores directly into your Moodle gradebook. I mean, how cool is that? It's a game changer.
So, as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this one thought. Go and look at one of your existing static presentations and ask yourself, if that content could suddenly spring to life and ask your students one single question to see if they're really getting it, what would you want that question to be?